Here's a controversial truth about online courses, and that is the experts with the most knowledge often are creating the worst courses. Yeah, you heard me right. But what about my busy parents? Well, they're out there crushing it in the course creation game. Why? Well, because they don't have the time to be making those big mistakes that tend to kill most courses. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on what really makes courses sell and why your limited time could well be your greatest asset.
Hey there, audacious parents. Welcome to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast, where we're not just about surviving, we're about thriving. If you're tuning in, you're not looking for just another feel-good, pat-on-the-back kind of show. No. You're here because you're ready to disrupt the status quo. You're ready because you're here to challenge your limits and to step out of the comfort zone where we know growth never happens. This is not just your average, let's all be happy with our 9-to-5 lives kind of podcast. We're here to give you actionable strategies. We're here to dive deep into the world of side hustles, digital marketing, and smart income boosting tactics. Why, you may ask? Because we're designed for parents like you, parents juggling family expenses, childcare, and the elusive me time. We're not just about making money, though. We're about designing a life that you dictate, not one that's been prepackaged in a soul-sucking 9-to-5 box. So, if you're ready to break free and design a life that aligns with your dreams, design a life that aligns with your family, you're in the right place. The Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
What is up? What is up? What the hell is up, my Dark Horse friends and family? Man, do I have a story for you today? And this one actually makes me cringe just a little bit. And I'm going to tell you a story about back in the early days of my digital marketing journey. I created what I thought was the perfect online course. I spent months, yeah, you heard me right, months, creating the perfect slides, just dialing them in, recording and re-recording. So I got the videos so they were flawless. And I packed it with everything that I knew about digital marketing up to that point. And when I say everything, I mean everything. Would you like to guess how many sales I made when this thing launched? 0. Nada. Nilch. Yeah. And this is where it gets interesting. My second course, well, this is the one I created between my daughter's cheer practices and between those late night homework sessions. That one generated 5 figures in the first week. Now, I know what you might be thinking, Tracy, what the hell was the difference? Well, the difference was being a parent forced me to do what successful course creators seem to do naturally. They created exactly what people needed. Nothing more, nothing less. It took out the fluff. You see, when you're juggling kids and work and life and just life in general, you don't have time to create the fluff. You don't have the luxury of adding those nice to haves content. You're forced to focus on what really matters and what people will actually pay for. And that right there, my Dark Horse friends and family, that is your superpower when it comes to the course creation game. Today, we're going to break this down into 3 game-changing segments. First, we're going to bust open what I call the course creation myth, why most of what you've heard about creating courses is dead wrong, and why being a busy parent actually, hear me out here, lean in, come back to me, actually gives you an edge. Then I'm going to walk you through the profitable course framework. It's a simple parent-friendly approach to creating courses that will actually sell. And yes, you can do this during nap time or during soccer practice. And I'll show you how. Stick with me. And then finally, we're going to dive into a launch strategy specifically designed for my busy parents. No 5 a.m. hustle required here. All right. But before we dive in, I want you to do something for me. Yep. Come on. Pay attention. I want you to take all those preconceived notions that are rolling around in your head about needing endless hours of free time to create a course, and then take them and chuck them right on out the window. Just open it up and toss it out. Heck, throw it right through the window. Because today, I'm going to show you why your busy parent life might be the exact reason your course will succeed when all the others fail. Are you ready to dig into this? All right, let's dig in. So let's talk about the biggest myth in course creation, the one that's probably stopped you right up to this moment that you're listening to me right now. Yeah, I know you've heard it before, because I've heard it before. It is the favorite phrase for so many gurus out there. Just share your expertise, package up your knowledge, people will buy it. Yeah, let me be brutally honest with you here. That advice is garbage. And I'm going to be honest, I've said it myself. But I said it with the wrong intent. And here's why. It's garbage. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wakes up in the morning and says, gee, I would really like to buy someone's expertise today. Yeah, you feel me? Yeah, you're chuckling because you know it's right. You've never woke up thinking that, have you? No, and you won't. What they do wake up thinking is, I need to solve this damn problem, whatever the problem is, because it's driving me crazy. Yeah, that's what they wake up thinking. So let me give you a real example. When I created my first course, I dumped, like I said, everything I knew about digital marketing into it. And I mean everything, from the basic social media all the way up to advanced sales funnels. And you know what happened? Yeah, crickets. Because I was creating a course about what I knew, and I was not creating a course about what people needed to solve their problems.
The Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
So stop creating courses about what you know. No one cares. And start creating courses that solve problems that people will pay money for to fix. Let that sink in for a second. No one cares about what you know. They care about the problem in their life that what you know can fix. So here's where being a parent, I think, gives you a massive advantage. You know what parents are really good at, ladies and gentlemen? Solving specific problems with limited time and limited resources. Think about it, right? You're like nodding. If you are a parent or know a parent, you have a parent, right? When your kid is having a meltdown in the grocery store, you do not have time to give them a lecture on emotional regulation. No, you solve that immediate problem right away. Just bam, you get in there and you solve the problem. When you're helping your son or your daughter with their homework, you don't teach the entire history of mathematics. No, you help them with the specific problem that they're stuck on. When you're making dinner with whatever's in the fridge, you don't create a culinary masterpiece. No, you solve the I have hungry kids problem. That right there, I think, if you think about it, right? Just go ahead and bear with me for a second. That right there, that is your secret weapon when it comes to course creation. Because while other course creators are out there creating comprehensive encyclopedias, wide bodies of knowledge that nobody wants to buy, by the way, you are already naturally wired to focus in and zero on solving specific problems. And let me break down why I think this really matters. Number one, specific problems equal urgent needs. When someone has an urgent need, an urgent problem, they are damn well ready to pay to have it fixed. Nobody urgently needs to know everything there is to know about digital marketing, but they do urgently need to know how to get their first 1,000 followers on Instagram. You see the difference? Number two, limited time equals better focus. Because you don't have endless hours to create content over and over and over again, you're forced to focus on what actually matters. And that is exactly what your customer wants. Number three, real world experience equals better solutions. You are in the trenches every day, grinding it out, solving real world problems. That's worth far more than theoretical knowledge will ever be. Here's another myth that we need to bust, by the way, that you need to create the most comprehensive course out there. No, you don't. You need to create the most effective course out there. See the difference? Think about it like this. When your kids ask you for help with something like, say, tying their shoes, do you give them a lecture on the history of shoelaces? Or perhaps you need to teach them how to get into the right mindset in order to tie their shoes. No, of course, that's not what you do. You show them the most efficient, the quickest, and most effective way to tie the damn shoes. Boom, done. That's exactly what your course needs to do. And here's the beautiful irony when it comes to this. Because you're a busy parent, you are actually more likely to create something that the people really want and really need. It's going to have a clear solution to a specific problem. It's not going to have you fluff or filler. It's going to give you some step-by-step practical advice and some real-world applications. Huh? Yeah. So stop thinking that your limited time as a parent is a disadvantage. Stop believing that you need to create some massive comprehensive course. Your active and busy parent life constraints are actually going to force you to create exactly what your market needs. Now, let's talk about how how to actually create this kind of focused problem-solving course using what I call the Profitable Course Framework. It could even be called the Parent Profitable Course Framework. And if you're thinking this is going to be some long, complicated, time-consuming process, then I want you to think again. I, too, am a parent. We are going to go about this the Dark Horse Entrepreneur way. Smart, efficient, and designed by and for busy parents. Yeah? Okay, first up, validation. And no, I'm not talking about the kind of validation that you give your kids when they show you that 47th drawing. No, that's not the kind of validation we're talking about here. Here's the golden rule I want you to go with. Never create a course until you have validated that people will actually give you money for it. They're actually willing to pull out their credit card and say, here, take my money, please. Yeah, let me share a quick story. One of my clients, he had this amazing idea for a course about time management, but instead of spending days, weeks, or months creating it, here's what we did. We created a quick 30-minute workshop, charged a measly $27 for it, and sold it to I believe it was 10 people. It may have been 12, but I don't want to exaggerate. Why? Well, obviously, because if people are not willing to pay a measly $27 for a workshop, they're certainly not going to pay $297 for a full-blown course. Now, here's where things get interesting. During that workshop, she discovered what her audience really wanted, and it wasn't time management tips. What they wanted was specific strategies for running the business during school hours. Boom, mic drop. That was her real course topic. You see, your limited time is not a curse. Why? Because it's forcing you to create exactly what your audience needs, nothing more. Okay, now let's talk about what I call the nap time content creation strategy. And here's how it works in 3 easy steps. 1, micro creation sessions. These are about 15 or 30 minutes. You're going to outline one module during breakfast. You're going to record one video, say during nap time, and then you're going to edit that video during soccer practice or whatever afternoon event you may have. Number 2, the voice note method. Use voice notes to record ideas while you're doing other chores or activities. Then later on, you transcribe them for course content. Or you could use tools that are out there to do the transcription for you. And then you're going to turn parent multitasking into content creation.
The Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
Number 3, the MVP approach, and that is the minimal viable product. You're going to create one module at a time. Then you're going to release it to your handful of founding members. And then you're going to get feedback before you create more. Why create something that people don't give a shit about? I'm just saying. Here's what makes this framework a bit different. It's designed for real life, not some fantasy world where you're going to have 8 uninterrupted hours a day. Yeah. Plus, it also trains you and your mind to utilize your busy parent-centric times to build that side hustle that you desire, that you deserve, and that you dream about into a legacy. Let me break down a simple example of building while parenting. Okay. Morning routine. 6 a.m., maybe you outline while the kids are eating breakfast. Then at school drop-off, you could record a couple of those notes. 9 a.m., you record a quick video. Lunch break, maybe you edit and upload that video. And then right after kids' bedtime, you add the final touches to said video. Boom, there it is. And here's the key. You're not just creating content. You're testing and you're validating as you go along. How? Well, I'm glad you asked. You're going to create a feedback loop. And here's what I call the feedback loop system in 5 easy steps. 1, create a small piece of content. 2, share that content with your audience so that you can 3, get immediate feedback. 4, now that you've got that feedback, it's never failure, it's feedback, right? You're going to adjust and improve. And then 5, rinse and repeat. So maybe it's actually 4 steps. Huh? You feel me? Now, let me share with you something that might just shock you a bit. Some of the most successful courses I've ever seen were created in 15-minute increments. Why? What? Why? Well, because when you only have 15 minutes to create your course module, you're going to cut out the fluff, you're going to focus on high-impact content, you're going to deliver what's needed, and stay focused on solutions. Bam! Mic drop. I could just end this episode right here, but I'm not going to. Because here is your permission slip, my fellow parents. Stop waiting for the mythical perfect time to create your course. Instead, use the pockets of time you already have and create in those small chunks and test as you go. And let your trusted advisors and trusted founding members give you real feedback and use that feedback to guide your next step. Remember this, your limited time, as they call it, is actually your quality control system, because it does force you to be concise. It does force you to stay focused and deliver value quickly. And it does force you to stay focused on solving real world problems. Here's something that might resonate with you. I want you to think about course creation like making dinner while your toddler is hanging on your leg. You got to get really good on focusing what matters and ignoring everything else. That's exactly what makes a successful course. So now you've got your course going. Let's talk about launching your course without losing your sanity or sacrificing your family time. And I'm going to start this little bit right here by busting yet another myth. You do not need 17 different tech tools or a complicated tech stack or launch sequence. No, let me tell you about Tom, one of my clients. He was convinced, just like so many of you out there, that he needed the perfect website, all that fancy schmancy video equipment and that fancy complex marketing funnel before he could ever think about launching. You know what happened? 6 months later, he was still in getting ready to launch mode. Here's what you actually need, ladies and gentlemen. A way to collect payments, a way to deliver content, and a way to communicate with your students. Boom. That's it. Nothing else. Everything else beyond that is just fancy window dressing. Yeah, I get it. There are things that will make your life a little bit easier, but you're just trying to get started, aren't you? You don't need to overcomplicate it how does that make your life easier if it's overcomplicating? I don't know. Let's break down a very simple tech stack here. You need a payment processor, Stripe or PayPal. Boom. You need a course hosting platform, Teachable, Thinkific, Circle. There's a number of them out there that are very inexpensive. And you need to communicate. Email. I love email, and email works. Or a Facebook group. Something like Circle creates a group for you. Okay. Total time to set up. I don't know, about 2 hours. Total cost, less than $50 to get you off the ground. Boom, you're done. Now, here's where things really get interesting. Leveraging your existing routines when it comes to marketing this launch. I call this the parent marketing method. I want you to think about your daily routine. Your morning carpool, well, that could be your podcast listening time. You do listen to podcasts, obviously. You're listening to me right now. Kids practice, well, that could be your social media engagement time. You're sitting there waiting at a doctor's appointment. That could be email writing time. Making dinner, well, that could be Instagram story time. Now, you don't need more time to create a successful course or to launch that successful course. You need the right strategy for the time you already have. Let me share with you my favorite parent-friendly launch strategies. Number 1, the soccer practice launch. Use practice time to go live on Instagram. Share quick tips while you're watching the game. And at the same time, you can network with the other parents who quite probably are your potential customers. Number 2, how about the school spirit strategy? 9 a.m., you're going to schedule some social posts. 10 a.m., you're going to engage with those social posts in the comments. 1 p.m., you're going to send a few emails. And at 2 p.m., you're going to follow up with interested leads. That's it. Why overcomplicate this? How about number 3, the bedtime business builder? All right, you're going to schedule the next day's content after you put the kids to sleep. You're going to engage with your audience during your evening routine. And then perhaps you could use story time to brainstorm some new content ideas. Yeah. Okay. You feel me? Yeah, I can feel some of you nodding right now. You know what, Tracy? You're right. Well, I know. That's why I'm telling you.
The Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
Here's what makes this approach different. It's not about finding more time. It's about maximizing the time you already have. And let me share with you a little ninja trick. This is just popped into my head here. Here's a little ninja trick I share with some of the paid clients. I'm going to give it to you right here for free. It's called the content multiplication method. Here's what I want you to do. Record a 2-minute video during breakfast time. After you got them fed and they're sitting there and they're chowing away, just enjoying it, yeah? And you're going to take that 2-minute video, you're going to turn it into 3 social posts, 1 email, 5 story prompts, and 2 carousel posts. All while your kids are eating cereal. Boom, another mic trap. And here's something nobody talks about. Being a parent actually makes your marketing more authentic. Why? Well, you're actually living the solutions that you're teaching. You're understanding your audience's time constraints, you speak their language, and you know their real world challenges. What gets more authentic than that? Nothing. Yeah? You feel me? Okay. Now let's talk about launch timing. I want you just, again, another one of those open the window and chuck these preconceived notions right out the window, through the window if you want to. I want you to forget those launch in 30-day programs. Instead, launch during school hours, build momentum during your natural breaks, use school terms to structure your timeline, and then align with parent-friendly schedules. Remember, your launch doesn't need to look like everyone else's. It needs to work with your life and your schedule. So now, I'm a little bit charged. Can you tell? But before we wrap up today, let me share with you today's whiskered wisdom, because I think it kind of ties everything together perfectly. And let me be honest, I also think it's a bit of a game changer. Today's nugget of wisdom is what I like to call the Parent-Preneur Course Creation Method, or as I think of it, how to turn your between bells time into a profitable course creation moment. Here's the golden nugget I want you to take away today. If you get nothing else from this episode, do not forget this. Your course doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be perfectly timed. Let me explain. Think about how you handle dinner time with the kids. You don't go out there and create every night a 5-course gourmet meal. No, you create what they will actually eat when they actually need to eat it. You get where I'm going with this? Your course needs to follow the same principle. What they need when they actually need it. And here's the 3-step between the bells framework I want to leave you with. Step 1, your morning bell validation. During that morning drop-off time, ask 3 parents about their biggest challenge in whatever area of expertise you want to launch a course on. That, my friends, that's called market research. And that's done by school bell number 1. Step 2, lunch bell creation. Use this quiet midday break to create one piece of content that directly addresses the research you just did. That is content creation done by school bell number 2. And you don't even need to do it on the same day. You can do it the following day. Step 3, the afternoon bell testing. During pickup, you got to pick them up. You take them to school, you got to pick them up, right? Share what you created with those same parents. That, my friends, is market validation, all done by school bell number 3. You see what we've done here? We turned your regular school day routine into a complete course creation cycle. No extra time needed, no fancy bells and whistles, no family time sacrifice. Because remember this, when a cat hunts, it doesn't chase down every damn mouse in the house or on the farm or in the field. No, it waits for the right moment and it gets down and you know what I'm doing? Anybody who has cats can picture that little cat butt wiggle, and it makes every move count. That, my friend, is your content creation strategy right there. Targeted, efficient, and effective. Yeah? Okay, let's wrap this all up and get you taking some action today by bringing this home with a quick recap of what we just covered. We started by busting a couple of course creation myths that have been holding you back, quite probably. Remember, it's not about doing a complete brain dump about everything you know into the course. It's about solving specific problems that people will actually pay you to have fixed. Right? We walked you through that profitable course framework, showing you how to validate before you create using the nap time strategy and build while parenting. Then we broke down that parent-friendly launch strategy that works in the real world. Not some fantasy world where you have all the time in the world to get shit done. No, but here's where I really want you to take away from today's episode. Being a parent is not an obstacle to creating your course. I think it's your secret weapon. It's your secret weapon for creating courses that people actually want, for solving problems they actually have. Think about it, because as a parent, you are already solving problems efficiently, managing time like a pro, creating results, often with limited resources, and making things happen no matter what. That's not just parenting. That's exactly what makes courses sell. Listen, you're not building a course. You're creating a legacy. You're showing your kids what's possible when you manage your time, when you put your mind to it. You're demonstrating that challenges, they're not roadblocks, right? They're stepping stones to something greater, okay? Now, if this episode lit a fire under you, and I hope it did, I've got something special for you. And some of you have heard this already, but maybe you're new here today. Look, I know you're probably listening to this while you're juggling 17 other things. That's exactly why I created something specifically for my driven entrepreneurs, my driven parent entrepreneurs, just like you. You want to get tips and strategies and insights about turning your expertise into an income. I'm talking about real actionable advice that you can implement during nap time or that you can implement during soccer practice. Well, then head on over to the darkhorseschooling.com/newsletter and join the Dark Horse Digital Marketing Newsletter. In every issue, I will send you practical strategies that work in the real world, not 7 years ago, today. Up-to-date strategies. The world where kids have soccer practice and cheer practices and dance recitals, and somehow they still manage to need a poster board at 9 p.m. at night for a project due tomorrow. And here's the best part. You'll be joining a community of other parent entrepreneurs who are all out there striving to make it happen, just like you. Until next time, keep creating, my Dark Horse friends and family. And as always, think successfully and take action.
Hey, my Dark Horse entrepreneur parents, thanks for tuning in. If this episode struck a chord, share it with a fellow parent hustler. Let's grow our tribe that thrives, not just survives. For more insights and a community that totally gets it, join our Facebook group at www.darkhorseschooling.com/tribe. Think successfully and take action.